we all doing today? Squad up. We got Thomas the Train, Thomas the Tank Engine, Thomas and Friends, Thomas Trackmaster. He goes by all this and more. So, very popular line of toys, of course. Thomas the Train. They put out new ones every year. Some are wood, some are die cast, some are plastic, some are motorized, some talk, some don't, some use one track, some use another track. So, just when you think you know a lot about this, you run into ones that you've never seen. I'm fairly novice at Thomas the Train. I'm not a train guy in general, but I do grab these because they sell really well. Some of them go for fantastic money, but they typically, I have a lot of them because I tend to buy every one I can find, and when these go, they usually go in big batches because people that collect them will move them all on at once, and then you end up with literal gallons of Thomas the Train figures. So we got 5 to price out today. So we will move these off and focus in one at a time here. So this is James, and James is a wooden train. There's a few different kinds of non-motorized trains. So the wooden ones have these magnets that attach them to the other trains. Sometimes they have hooks. Sometimes, like this one, like square magnets versus the rounded ones. It all just depends on year, material. So we got a James wooden figure, no year on this one, and we're gonna have to do a deep dive on all these to figure out what exactly they are. So take my photo here. I got these out of a bag we've already unpacked that had quite a bit of good stuff. Actually, no, this was a box, not a bag. This was a box of track. I spent $6 on that box of track with the trains inside. I only heard one of them. I didn't really go through it. The box of track I listed for 20 plus shipping. I'm sitting on it currently, not physically. That wouldn't really work out. I only listed a few days ago. It already has 14 views, so it's usually if something gets that much traffic immediately, it's going to be gone pretty quick. I priced it aggressively because it is a large thing, and I didn't want to have it sitting around forever. So we're going to dig into finding this particular James. So we don't have a year. But let me see. Thomas Wooden Railway James. Sounds about right. So they're all going to be a little different. We're going to be able to tell what's what. So this one has sounds. You can see the button on the top of this picture. This one does not have that. It's straight up wood. This one looks correct. Although, if you notice, the wheels are different here. But that could be that they did that. So we're going to take a peek at this one, see if anything stands out. Yeah, it's just the different, slightly different. You can see on mine, I do not have that squiggle at the end on that line. Obviously, these are different. I don't think it would. And the facial expression, that's a dead giveaway. That's very different. He's serious in this one, happy in the other one, so that is not a match. So this one looks correct. Yeah, that's the one. So now that I'm looking at a picture of one, I notice the eyebrows on mine are a little worn off. I don't think anybody's going to be too offended by it, but it does have a little bit of damage at the top as well. And it does not come with its tender or coal car. We got the code on the bottom. Mine's a little different. I don't think it actually matters. It's probably a manufacturing number, the second one. Usually the Y is whatever set it came from, if any. So I'm thinking that's the one. And that's just wooden railway train, James. A lot of the tenders for sale, which is kind of interesting. Maybe somebody will buy, with a tender, will buy this to make a complete set. I've never gotten into doing that. It seems like a lot of work. Some stuff would more than likely be worthwhile. I'm usually happy just to sell the parts. There are some toys like some of the Bondi Power Rangers vehicles that are enormous. You can find arms and legs for them and sell them for pretty good money because assembled they're worth $200 or $300. So if somebody's missing one or two pieces, it's well worth them to drop 15 bucks to complete theirs. This doesn't quite generate that much money. We'll see. So this is saying it's a 2003. That sounds fair. And they still make this particular train, I'm sure. Especially like the Melissa and Doug wooden toys really took off, and I couldn't imagine they don't still make wooden trains. Thomas, it's printing money practically. All right. So I got my listing set up. Let's get an idea on value. So of course, with the coal car here would be more. That's, for all intents and purposes, this is the same car. So now we're about 9. Quite a few for sale, and you see the cars are going for about 7. That's the same one as before. That's 13. So we'll go for sold. You can see, 380 James toys, train toys have sold. And they're not all going to be James, but still. This stuff moves pretty terrifically. So this is my exact train. Oh, that's the 92. Jeez. No, it isn't the same. So you can see this piece is different. Okay. So we saw 2003. Yeah, 92 has a different piece here. And the expression slightly happier. All right. 2002, 2003. That makes about some sense. But this one's motorized. Okay. Powered. I'm just looking for wood. Which one is with just wood? Wood toy. Tender. That was 19 with the tender. That's the older one. Again with tender. That's 7 or 16. Thinking I'm going to do 8 because the tenders are going for 8. Both are going for 16-ish or more. Now, interestingly, I'm not seeing a lot of single trains sold, and I'm not seeing a lot of individual coal cars sold either compared to what was listed for sale. So it might be that somebody is going to have to pick this up to complete a set. The sets are going. That's a slightly different one for 13. I want to do 8. 8's a good round number. And this came out of a box that I've already listed for 3 times what I paid for it, so I have the luxury of getting rid of this for fairly cheap, and I'm still going to turn a profit. Alright. See you later, James. Move on to this one. That's a really funny shaped car. Some of the characters in this series are caboose. I don't know why. I don't watch the show, but obviously this is not a train engine, it is a caboose. The 2012. And it's Toby. And this one is it's not an engine, doesn't move by itself. It does talk, however. So.
Oh, I'm Toby.
Now, if that sounds awful, it's because it does actually sound awful. There's the speaker might be dying. I'm not entirely sure. It sounds staticky. It is fairly old for a talking toy. That wouldn't have anything to do with batteries, I don't believe. It could. I have swapped out batteries on ones in the past that had a funny noise, and it continued. So, Thomas the Train, Talking Toby. Let's see if we can find the right one. Thomas Talking Toby. So, not that one. This looks similar, so we have the items on the top appear to be the same. And then between these two, we got the different connector. So, and then we know it's 2012 because we actually have the date on this one. All right, I'm just going to grab my picture. Now, talked about this before. Some people that do listings will take a lot of pictures from every single angle. I take one picture. If people want to see something in particular, they will ask. In the past, people that have asked for more pictures don't buy it. So, if somebody wants to spend a lot of time putting in a lot of pictures, they could do that. And with the exception of very expensive items, I just don't do it. This pretty much does it. And as long as you indicate in the listing that it is, you know, damaged or really great condition, I don't think you're leaving anything to the imagination with it. So this one's in good shape. I wouldn't even mention there's a very small amount of paint chipping around that, like, that little hole at the top. I wouldn't even mention it, and it does work. I'd say in good condition. Alright, so let's get a value on this. So asking prices right now. So this one says top. Oh, okay, this is not the same year. So this one lights up apparently. But this is the one we know we have. That one's going for 14. 2012, different year. That one's slightly different. That one's different. That's interesting. So if we just look at this real quick, we have 2009 has the peg and the same roof. 2012, two different ones. There's same roof, different magnet. This one's lighted. That's interesting. If it's not lighted, it seems to have that, like, I don't know, porthole or whatever you'd call that. I'm guessing that's something to, like, move air through the train while it moves. So pricing on this can be tough because they are all a little different. I'm sure there's some that are more desirable. This is the same one, and that's 15. So we'll go to sold listings. I don't know why this is here. Is there a different train also named Toby? What on earth? Talking Toby engine. This can't be an engine. That one's huge. I don't know, maybe in the story he got shrunk down or something. I don't follow it. Alright, so the headlight one's going to be worth more. That's a larger one. That's the smaller one. Different year. So around 10 bucks in my head right now. Still in box. That's 14, but it's for a slightly older one. So I'm still around 10, I think. Older one again. That one has the light for 10. That's 15. Yeah, we'll go 10. I think 10's fair. For being in good condition and still making the noise. Alright. Moves on. And we got Ferdinand. I know this is Ferdinand because I just got one of these maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I thought it was the same one. So I looked it up, and we're probably going to see my listing of the other one when we dig into this. So, mine that I just listed was 2012. This one is a 2013, and they are different. That's my listing of the other one. And if you look, this part in front of the, I guess, the conductor's room is blue. On this one, it's the same color as the rest of the train. It's a pretty nice train. It's in good shape. A little bit of damage on the roof there with the paint. The wheels on this one are kind of odd. I don't know. They're, rather than going for the 3 large ones, it went for the 4 small ones. I don't know anything about trains, quite frankly. I don't know if that's some kind of something to do with engineering, where they do trains a certain way and have more wheels, less wheels. That's the rounded magnet. And the back part's plastic, which is strange. So the whole thing is die cast, except just this piece. It doesn't come off, it doesn't do anything. I don't know if the talking ones, maybe it's something where they build it and they could leave this off and put the button on and it's easier. That would make some kind of manufacturing sense on it. But we'll look up 2013s. Alright, so that appears to be the correct one already. We're just going to check that line. That looks correct. It has like a piston, the face. Yeah, these look right. Alright, so I'll grab my picture. Still working out the camera stuff, I think. I'm assuming there's a way to have two camera views and that you can just switch between with a button. But I'm new to the YouTube stuff, doing videos, so I don't actually know how to do it. Adding a few things here and there as I go. I was a streamer before this, just streaming games. I decided I wasn't really into that anymore, and I stopped streaming to do reselling. So I wanted to come back and do streaming, but there just isn't a place for it, quite frankly, to do this in a streaming format. No streaming service has like reselling or thrifting or anything. It's a category. So it just ends up going into just chatting, which is just a sea of random stuff. Nobody will ever find this kind of program if you're looking for it. So I figured doing smaller videos made the most sense. So I enjoy some YouTube stuff with reselling. Now it's interesting, you learn new tricks here and there. So I figured I'd throw my hat in this arena. So, got my listing started on my phone. Price-wise, interesting. This one is being sold with the tender for less than the ones without. So that just might be an anomaly up here. But plenty of them for sale. We'll go check out sold. We have quite a few with tender. We have a Sola wooden train without. 16. This might end up going for fairly cheap. Another wooden one. That one has a light, a fake light on the front, and this one has it too, but they didn't color it, unlike that one. I don't know. Quite understand why. Looks sharp. That. Also, the train's bigger. If you notice, there's the smokestack and then 2 additional protrusions. Mine only has like really 1.5. Yeah, so we'll do 8. 8's fair. Condition is totally normal for a train. I will put that it's played in condition, or played with condition, which is really your blanket coverage on toys. Nobody abused it. It's not broken, but obviously nobody put this in a curio cabinet and didn't touch it. for 10 years. It was given to a child who used it until they did not want to use it anymore. Alright, so Ferdinand moves on. Let's see, what else we got? This has got to be an older one. I forget if this is Thomas or not. Okay, it is Thomas. For some reason I thought Thomas was number 2, despite the fact it's his show. I think number 2 might be Gordon, and they look the same. Now we're just going to grab my photo. This one's pretty banged up, honestly. I'm going to make sure I get the fact that the roof is scratched. And that peg is really... That magnetic peg is really corroded. And its face is actually kind of banged up. I don't know what could have possibly happened. Unless something die-cast smashed into him. Oddly, this one has an open window that goes all the way through. And there's a seat inside. Doesn't come apart or anything, but I'm not entirely sure we're going to get anything for this guy because he is really busted up. Worst case scenario is he won't sell. So he's a 2012. The issue with Thomas finding his stuff falls under the blanket of It's Called Thomas and Friends. So I might put Tank, because sometimes he's called Tank Engine. Alright, so we got this one. This is not oh, it could be the same. It's hard to tell if that is an open window. So mine has banners on it. So the sides are going to be different. I have some kind of festive banner crest right here. So hopefully we find something that indicates what that means. So sometimes they release ones for specific episodes, like this one has dust on him for when something occurred in an episode or he crashed through something or whatever. So if we can't find the right one, we might have to try a few search parameters here, like a ribbon. There are an awful lot of these. 5,300 of them. Try ribbon and see. He might be from a parade. Okay, perfect. Ribbon worked. Limited edition with castle and ribbons. I don't really see the castle part. Just gonna make sure it's the right one. Yeah, that's... Oh, okay, this is the castle. There's not, like, anything that makes him a castle. Yeah, so mine has a smashed-in face. So that's gonna be a problem. This is in pretty bad shape, too. But his face isn't smashed in. So, he's got that going for him. So that's going for 8, and I think that's probably going to be the best I can do. And the ribbon didn't really help. This guy just wrote that it's rare, so that's good. When in doubt, just say it's rare. So if I can figure out what set it came from. So, trick you can try on Google is just punching in R8847 Thomas and use all the codes you find on the bottom. use Google image search, and sometimes you can find the right one. And sometimes people just copy the code. I'm looking for possibly in the plastic, and then that will absolutely identify it. It seems the best way to list it will be to use that number. So I'm not seeing this in the box. Because if it was from a specific episode, that would probably work as a search parameter as well. Huh. So, just have to go with that number and just throw it in there. I'll put ribbon. I'll put whatever I can. I don't suspect this one's going to go. A little beat up. Doesn't look desirable necessarily. Get some pricing going on this. Would have been nice to know exactly what it was from. We get no sales with that exact number. So I think we're just gonna do $8. Typically these go for a bit more. We're on the lower end ones for this adventure. Some of the talking motorized diecast ones go for quite a bit of money if they're working. And these are a toy that if you leave the batteries in them, you may end up killing them in the long run. Right. And last one, we have, oh, magnet picked up a screwdriver. Percy. 2012 Percy. Diecast. This one also talks. Oh, I took the batteries out, didn't I? Well, he did talk. I took the batteries out because he also had that crackling noise. And I swapped in brand new batteries to see if that made a difference, and it didn't. Same crackling noise. Now, it could be that the ones from this year all make that noise. I don't know. Yeah, 2012 Percy diecast talking. Some of these light up, some don't. This is not one of the ones that lights up. His official name is Percy the Small Engine. Did not know that. Alright, let's see what we can find about Percy the Small Engine. I did put the year, okay. You know, why? Not I have a CFR 95 on mine. Could it be this one? So we have a magnetic coupler. That looks the same. Looks the same. Yeah, it looks like a dead ringer. I don't like this one says working sound and lights. Oh, there is a light. All right, you know what? I got to put the battery in. I never even noticed that if you look right here, he has a light. That's really going to determine if he's worth anything, I suppose. Two batteries. All right, so
I like delivering the mail.
yeah, he sounds terrible. Microphone's not even picking it up.
See,
Huh. He sounds really terrible for one of his sayings. I'm wondering, I don't know how these work exactly. It can't be like a magnetic tape. I guess it could. It might be that it's corroded and it makes that one crackly when it comes around. Don't know much about them, and at what they sell for, it's not worth like really taking things apart. Like some things I'll try the Q-tip with vinegar to see if I can fix an issue with a battery if there's corrosion. But realistically, if it's between making $3 profit and just hurling it in the garbage, I typically just hurl it in the garbage. So this one has some paint damage on the top. I am going to mention the voice is crackly at times. And then I'll put played with condition. So, see what we can get for this one. Open for more than the 8 I've been listing everything for. Save 1 today. Wasn't a great train haul, but definitely gonna make some good profit on that box at any rate. So we have the light up train. This one's in better condition. And I went for 10. That seems like a good point for anything with lights and sounds. This one's also 10, different year, but similar. This one has a paint job where he went to the chocolate factory and got chocolate on it. Yeah, we'll do 10. I think that's reasonable. I'll just double check and see what other ones are selling. This one's 12 with a fender that doesn't seem to go to him. I don't know He just gets a generic one. Or somebody just threw it on there. That one's 15, that one's 17. That one doesn't talk. That one has the same open window as the other one we looked at. This one does not. Yeah, well, let's do 10. 10 works. This was a smoking household, possibly, because if you look, all these other ones are white. And this one's quite dark. Can't imagine they make too many variants on that. Alright, we got that listed. So 5 trains listed for 10, 10, 8, 8, 8. So 5, 5, 3, 3, 3. 21 profit. And it's pure profit because we already paid for everything with the box that they were thrown in. So that box that I spent 6 on, I will profit 41 roughly after sale. So not bad. You know, typically reselling, I try to do at least 3 times on absolutely anything. And if it's going to be something I have to package, as in make a box for, I try to do 5 times. So I hit that pretty easily. And the reality is when you come down to stuff where I'm buying bags of toys, where they're really, 10 cents or a quarter each sometimes, that number, return on investment number ends up being about 10 times profit. So I can make a substantial amount of money on something I spent almost nothing on. Not the reality every time, but more money the better, right? And you get to learn stuff as you go. I like this because I'm never going to not learn something doing reselling. I like things where you just keep learning. It keeps it exciting. Keeps you humble in a way, I suppose. But all right, that's it for Thomas the Train stuff. I'll probably do an unboxing or unbagging, I suppose you'd call it, tomorrow, because I picked up a bag today that we can go through and dig into that tomorrow. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.